So I will describe two ways of learning. We call it the instruction path and the discovery path. And how these two passes in a movement help you to go through this process of planting and getting it growing, starting to live. So what we do here is more or less an instruction path. We tell a story, we do an exercise, we experience something, we reflect on it, maybe we apply it once more. So it's explaining a little bit what is the sense, why are we doing this, what are we going to do. Maybe even demonstrate something, give an instruction for the exercise. We do the exercise together with some other people. We reflect, evaluate a little bit on the working, what happened, what did you learn, what did you meet. And maybe you do a little experiment later with this. Try something out in your practice. This is the instruction cycle. And when I worked with Shell, for instance, on the refinery, a lot of these instruction processes were done with the new operators who had to learn how to handle certain machines, certain instruments in the operational context. So, for instance, how to start a pump. And in Shell it went like this, the instruction path went like this. I am the instructor and you are the new operator. I show you the pump and then explain you a little bit what's in the pump and how the pump is working. And then I ask you, can you repeat what I told you? And when the pupil is talking and saying something wrong, you say, well, oh, wait a minute, no. It's like this, it's like this, and it's like this. Okay, next step is I demonstrate how to start the pump. So I click the nut, I click the contact, and then I look at the measurement instrument. When it is coming to the red stroke, the pump is ready. I push the button and the pump starts. I listen to the start and I look at the measurement. If it's okay, if it's not okay, I stop the pump if something is wrong. So after I have demonstrated it and every move I told you what I'm doing, now it's your turn to go step by step. So what is the first action? And then the pupil said, no, I start the pump. No! I demonstrate again. And then I do it, and then you do it step by step. And then when this really works well, then comes the last action. You start the pump, and you explain every step that you take to me. Okay. Then I say, okay, you know the routine, you know the way, it is step by step, you have understood it, you know how to start the pump. The first 3 times in the practice, when the new operator has to start the pump, I go with him and check if he's doing or she is doing the right thing. So this is a very good method. It's called methodological instruction to learn to do something precisely, to act something precisely in the practice. So this is the way I then teach my young girls how to repair the tire of their bicycle. Same procedure, and it worked. And, when we are starting the machine for cleaning, after I understood myself how to handle the washing machine, then I instructed them how to do that in the same way. Simple, but so this is relevant for all the very practical actions that people have to do in a kind of routine and automatic to get them in a certain attitude to do automatically the right thing with the right machine. This is the instruction way. For instance, when we do an exercise, it's quite important that we give a good instruction how to do the exercise. So first step, we prepare 5 minutes question. Then A tells the story. B and C listen. After the story, B and C talk, and so on. This kind of instruction, do it precisely. Don't do it a little, let's talk, blah, 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 blah. Go. No, do the procedure precisely. Instruction pass. But there's another way. We call it the discovery way. That's the main road for our work here. So it starts with bringing yourself or another one in a new situation that you don't know. And you are invited to start in this unknown situation to explore. And the other one follows what this person is doing and at some moment reflect together with this person on the experience, what happened, what did you discover, what were your meetings. And then after you've gone through the experience in the new situation, unknown, and you have this first experience, then you reflect together what happened, what did you experience, like this morning. And then finally you could explore and explain what is the concept behind this experience, behind the situation, behind the process that you have been doing. So if a new colleague comes into the company and starts to work, this is what's happening. So therefore it's very important when a new colleague comes and starts the process that there are moments where you can reflect together. So bring the colleague in a new situation, let them act, reflect together what happened, try to dialogue on this together, and then start to see what is the concept, what is the methodology behind this way of working. So it helped me very much when I was working in the MPI and new young colleagues came, how to deal with this new young colleague. So the colleague just entered into the internal processes, but then I said, okay, I have a client, just join me, we go to the client. During the trip to the client, I explained 5 minutes to the young colleague what we are going to do, and then we talked about everything else. Then we entered in the situation of the client, and we were sitting there with a group, people, managers, and we were talking about starting some kind of process. And then I said to my young colleague, please, maybe you can explain them how it works to find the good process owners. Then the face went a little bit pale. There was a little bit nervousness, me, telling them. I said, okay, go ahead, tell them how to find a good process owners, because that we had talked somewhere in the past a little bit about this, and now we had to bring it. And then the young colleague explained better than I could do. And the others were listening and trying to understand what he was telling. They asked some questions to my younger colleague. And the young colleague was just responding based on that, what this colleague had. Okay, the process continued. I asked the managers to work in small groups on something. And I said to my younger colleague, maybe you check if the groups are really working well. Go around, see what they are doing, and then they had to go around. Be aware of this, to the next group and say, maybe take attention for this, and then they came back. In the coffee breaks, these managers started to talk to my young colleague, lively dialogue. He was just active. Okay, then we had done the work, we went home in the car and we reflected on the day, what happened. Okay, and then this had arrived in the young colleague as a way of doing with the client. It's a discovery way. That's the life learning path. And I think what in companies is very helpful is what is called action learning, which is a mixture of pupils or young colleagues or whoever exploring in the practice certain issues and moments of instruction. Exploring, experiencing, reflecting, next time instruction. Do it like this, do it like that, do it like that. That's a very strong path that I've experienced myself also as a young guy. How to get really into the things. It's not by sitting in the classroom all the time and being taught. No, it's going into the practice, exploring new situations, trying to internalize what happened, reflect. You need someone who takes care a little bit of you, like I took care of these young colleagues. I didn't let them down. I didn't let them fall them down. Something that they got stuck, I immediately took over and say, okay, maybe they say a little bit about this, and then continue. So to intensify the learning of the people in the community, it's very good to create reflective moments where people, the workers, the team can reflect on how they're working, what is going on, what are they learning. And on the other create moments where you give instructions, where somebody gives instructions, how to deal with the computer, how to handle the new machine, how to deal with the new pump, or whatever is needed for exact disciplined way of action in the operation. And with the OGBs or self-steering teams, you create a good context in which this can happen. Reflection, action, instruction, in a kind of rhythm, not just once in a while, but in a certain rhythm. That's the story. So maybe you can, in trios, you can reflect a little bit on this learning path and see how it meets the situations you're in your company.